Hello and welcome to the World Reflexology Foundation. We are a group of reflexologists who have a passion for helping people have better health. And in fact, we have a belief that if people around the world had reflexology to use on themselves, that the world could be a healthier place. Our mission is to improve health worldwide through self-help reflexology. What's reflexology? Reflexology is a way of helping ourselves to stay in good health. It's called prevention. And if we do have aches and pains and different discomforts, then it's a way of sometimes helping us feel better. How is it done? Well, reflexology is done by using our touch in nurturing ways on maps of the body that are believed to exist on the feet, on the hands, and on the outer ears. And let's take a look at some charts that'll show you what reflexology is visually. So now let's take a look at the World Reflexology Foundation color coordinated chart. If you notice on the left, there's the human body, the lady, but it would be the same for the man. And the colors from the top to the bottom, from the top of her head to her feet. Well, we're going to take a look at those in a minute, but notice on the feet and hands, that they're also the same colors, going from the top down to the heel of the feet and the wrist of the hands. So let's take a look. Notice the purple color of her head and neck. But that color is color coded. If you go to the toes, you notice it's the same purple color as it is in the fingers. That's indicating if you have problems, stress in your head and neck, that you would go to the fingers and toes to help get relief. If you come to the body again and notice the blue, that's for the chest area. And that means chest in front, heart and lungs inside, everything inside the chest, and then the shoulders and back, because when the shoulders are actually the top and back of the chest. And we go to the same color, the blue, on the feet and on the hands. And now if we go back to the human body, we look at the yellow and the orange. The yellow is upper abdomen, the orange is lower abdomen. And that's where you'd work on the feet, the yellow for upper abdomen, and the heels for lower abdominal pelvic area. And on the hands, similarly, the yellow for upper abdomen, the heel of the hands, the orange for lower abdominal pelvic area issues. So that's for the feet, hands, and ears as far as from the top down. Now let's take a look at the legs. Notice they're red, and you go to the small red spots on the feet and on the hands. Notice the cursor that's showing you. And then go to the arms. Notice the green representing the arms. And notice the cursor is going to show us on the outer edge of the feet, below the small toe to the heel, and also the outer edge of the hands from the small finger down to the wrist. And then down the middle of the human body, notice that there's something that looks like a ladder. And that's representing the spinal reflex area from the neck all the way down to the lower pelvis area. And if we go to the feet, notice where the feet come together below the big toe down to the heel. That's for the spinal reflexes on the feet. And then the hands, similarly, where below the thumb down towards the wrist for spinal issues. Then let's go to the ears and think when we were children, we used to try to do headstands on the ears, headstands. And notice the purple is on the bottom instead of the top. That's because the image of the human body and the outer ear is upside down. So for head and neck issues, the purple, we'd work with the earlobe area. The blue is for the chest reflex area. The yellow and orange are for the upper and lower abdominal areas. The red is for the legs, leg reflexes. The green for arm reflexes. Shoulder all the way up to the finger top where the cursor is now. That would be for the fingertips. And then notice the spinal reflexes, that curved area. So these are still the maps that we use for the feet, hands, and outer ears, showing you what the concept of reflexology and the reflexology pressure maps.
As you can see on these maps right here, that the maps actually are on both feet simultaneously, the small intestine and the colon. So I'm going to show you how to work both feet separately, but working both the small intestines and the colon. Okay. All right. Hello again. My name is Isabel, and we will be working on the feet because it is the priority for reflexing the small and large intestines, also known as the colon. On the map, you could see that it worked. Both feet were used with small intestine and colon. We're going to start with the model of the right foot first. We'll do all of it on this foot, and then we'll slide over to the left foot, which I will then use my own foot. And you can all join me and we'll have fun. Now, let's start with foot markers. Everybody needs to know where to start. And I kind of figured this little trick out. If you start where your leg is, and then you slide your fingers around to the bottom of the foot, you will probably be around the exact spot you're supposed to be. Use the finger that is closest to the toes. And there you go. That is where we're going to begin. What we're going to do is the finger walk in this case because it's just more comfortable. But when we do the other foot, when I'm actually working on my foot, you'll find that the thumb roll probably will be a little bit more comfortable. What we'll do is we'll begin finger walking across the pad of the foot. And you're going to come to a spot right around the edge where you're going to feel a little firmer than the soft spot of the foot. That's where we're going to end. You'll come back to the beginning, slide down slightly, and continue to work across the bottom of the foot. And you'll continue doing this all the way down the foot itself. Now, this is not a race. Let's all go nice and slow and just kind of relax as we're doing it. Now, for some people, one finger might be a little difficult. Hands may not be that strong. It's okay if you use two fingers. For some people, depending on the situation, you might even need three fingers, and that's also okay. The broader the area is all that's going to happen that you're reflexing. Just continue and go all the way down to the bottom towards the heel. And that is how we reflex the small intestines on the right foot. We will now go to the large intestines. We will now reflex the large intestines. We will start right around this area, right around down here. I'm going to try to hold this foot so you can see everything. And we will start working upward, which is the, see if you can see my face and the foot, ascending colon reflex, all the way up till we get right around this area. And then we will cross over to the transverse colon reflex and move towards the arch of the foot. And you can do that a couple of times. Again, going nice and slow, working the ascending colon reflex, and cross over to the transverse colon reflex. And that is how you reflex the right foot for the small and large intestines, also known as the colon. Now, the left foot, would be a little different. I'm going to put this down for a moment. I'm going to bring the camera down so you can see what I'm doing. Now, for some people, they'll be comfortable working on the floor. Some people are comfortable in a chair, and some people want to put their foot on their right leg. And there we go. Okay. Wherever your foot is the most comfortable, that's what I recommend for you. We're going to start finding our placement first. So you'll take your 3 fingers, you'll slide down towards the arch. And again, the finger that's closest to the toes is where you're going to start. In this case, I'm going to use the thumb rule. A little more comfortable for me. Lift my foot up a little for you, if you can see. We're going to thumb roll across the foot. Feeling that little ridge right there at the end. I know I've come to the end where we can slide back and continue down the next row. And we're going to continue doing this all the way down the foot till we get to the heel. Now, something to remember. Harder is not better, and it's not more effective. So let's not hurt the thumb while we're trying to work on the small intestines and the colon. Let's go nice and slow and easy. And like Tina said earlier, if you come to a soft area that feels a little sore or a little tender, this is where you would do those little small circles that she was mentioning. You can hold it for a second or as long as a minute if you have the time. And once you feel comfortable, you can go ahead and start reflexing again and moving down towards the heel. And that's the small intestines. Now, for the large intestines and the colon, I'm going to bring back that little model foot for a second. Because in the map, you could see that it started here, went across down, and then came back down onto this portion of the foot. We're going to pick up right where this transverse colon reflex ended and start right there on the left foot. We will start thumb walking the transverse colon reflex across the foot. And then we will, this is an interesting little angle, but we will continue going downward the descending colon reflex all the way to the heel. And again, we'll do that a couple of times. Transverse colon reflex down to the descending colon reflex. And that is how you reflex. There we are. And that is how we reflex the small and large intestines. Congratulations. You've worked now on your small and large intestines, also known as the colon. And I would just like to thank you for tuning in and participating with me.
Oh, wonderful. Wow, Isabel, thank you so much. What a wonderfully detailed explanation and very appreciated. Oh, okay. I know sometimes it's hard to get to your feet. So in those occasions, even though that's the top of the priority list, the second area to work, which is a little bit more convenient, and it's called progressive, which would be the hands. And to demonstrate the hands, we're going to send it over to Paul Harvey. Paul, will you lead us and show us how to do the hands?
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Isabel, for that great explanation on how to work with the right and left foot. So, just like Sarah was saying, it's if you're in a maybe a kind of a public situation, it's a lot easier clearly to work on your hands. So, so this is the right side. This is the left side. So you notice something a little bit different on the hands than it was with the feet. So that we have what looks like a continuation on each side, but where it's actually the right side is the right half of the colon, the left side is the left half of the colon. So the small intestines are all in through the middle here. So as I'm going to show you how to work on the colon, we're also working on the small intestine at the same time because of the size of the area. Okay, so this is what you have as they're both together in the workbook that you have. All right. So now I'm first going to work on my right hand. So we're going to go to this tattoo that I had made. No, not really, Mom. It's not a tattoo. It's just a transfer. So um, imagine you see the shape. The shape is similar on both hands, although it comes around a bit more on the left hand. But imagine this is like the top of a window. So for your memory purposes, this is like we're working at on the window of the colon or the window of the intestines or the gut. So we're going to use the finger roll, the two finger roll, and the thumb roll at different points in time. So depending on how you're working on this, typically we won't be having it up here and doing it like this, but we can come across and we can work across the lines of the top of the window. So we're finger rolling up, we're finger rolling down. And then we can also take the two fingers, the one finger, or the three fingers. We can work across. What's important is that we're working the whole area eventually. So we want to work that whole area all the way around, and this whole area all the way around and across. And as we get down to this lower area here, it comes all the way around the thumb. So we don't want to look at this just as a one-dimensional picture. It's two-dimensional, three-dimensional, comes away all the way across. Okay, so keeping that in mind, let's all do this together and take a nice deep breath before we start. Maybe 2 deep breaths, maybe even 3. So we're a little bit more centered. So let's work this area coming up, coming across. And as you're working this, coming down, doing the reverse thumb roll, you may come across some areas that are a little bit more tender than others. So you're going to want to do that as Isabel demonstrated earlier. Yeah, little kind of a thumb roll, circle roll in areas that are tender. Not necessarily increasing the pressure. Pain is not the point. The point is nerve ending stimulation. So we can come up with the 3 fingers, working the small intestines up through the middle. Several passes, moving up through the middle. And we can be the same thing with the 3 fingers and the small intestines moving across, moving all the way across. So, sometimes you're in situation where you might be even in a meeting or something. So you could, have your hands on your lap, and you can do this because it's so simple with that image of the top of a window, the window to your gut, and you just then the area. You can feel the area that you're working in, and coming all the way around. So then, as we change hands, didn't get a tattoo on this one, but you get the idea because it's very similar. So if you take that same visualization of the top of the windowsill, and you're coming across here, and we move across, we move across, we move up and down with the thumb roll. No particular rules on whether you're using your thumbs, whether you're using one finger, two fingers, or three fingers. And just remember that when you come to an area that might be a little bit tender, just stop for a second, hold it for a second, do a little roll with the thumb. And that gives you an idea how to work the colon reflex and the small intestines on your hands. Thank you so much.
Oh, great, Paul. It's really convenient to be able to work on your hands if maybe you're not feeling so good at a restaurant, you just want a little bit of extra, attention. You can just keep your hands on the table and kind of help your digestion. So that's wonderful. Okay, well, let's move on to the ears. Well, really, it's the outer ears. So let's send that over to Kathy. Kathy, let's hear about where we work on the ears.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, as you could see on this chart, the ears are much different than the hands and the feet and the hands. So yeah, take a look at that. Those dark, yeah, there you go. Those dark circles there in that upper valley are where you're going to find the small intestine reflexes, and then there are the large intestine reflexes a little further up. And I'm gonna first show you on this large plastic ear, since it's a little trickier to show on my ear, but we will be doing that. So easiest way to find the small and large intestine reflexes is everyone knows where the ear canal is in this lower valley. And if you go across from the ear canal in that lower valley and you move upward over this slight ridge here to where you can't move anymore because you're up against this more prominent ridge, you're going to be in the upper valley here, just over that ridge. And this is right where you're going to find the small intestine reflexes. And further along, you're going to find the large intestine reflexes. So ear canal in that lower valley, up over that slight ridge into the upper valley, and here's the small intestine reflexes, and further on you'll find large intestine reflexes. So let's show you on my ear, and please feel free to work along. So again, everyone knows where the ear canal is. Find that in the lower valley, move over and go up just over that slight ridge where you can't move anymore. You're in the upper valley now, and we are right where we want to be for the small and large intestine reflexes. So you do have two ears, and let me show you on this one again, ear canal. Find that in the lower valley, go across and move upward just over that slight ridge till you can't go anymore. And you are right where you need to be. Our fingers are large when you're working with the ears, so you are covering a large area. So don't be too worried about how accurate, because you're there. And yeah, it's nice to just take a load off of your shoulders, rest on a table, and hold that area. Not a lot of movement is necessary right now. You're on the small intestine reflexes just above that little ridge, and you can just hold right there for a little bit. You can move a little bit, going closer to the face, going closer forward. You are moving more to the large intestine reflexes. But just being in here, you're getting that whole area, and holding is really, really all you need to do. Just get the pad of your index fingers right in that reflex area and just hold. Not a lot of pressure is needed. It feels pretty good. It's relaxing that whole digestive. And you can move if it feels good, whatever feels good. Not a lot of pressure is needed. And you can spend as much time as you want here. I think really the most important thing is to not be tensing your shoulders, because then you want to be comfortable and be able to take as much time as you need. I hope you guys can feel how good that feels. And I hope that was easy enough to find, just going up over that little ridge, and there you are. It's an easy spot to find. So I'm glad I could see you all were working along with me. So thank you.
It's good to see a lot of you working on yourself, following along, not only watching, but also working on yourself. That's the idea. And by the way, in this video, we had to go very quickly to cover a lot of information. What we encourage you to do is to, like I'm going to do with my voice now, is slow down. Spend a lot of time working on those reflexes as frequently as you reasonably can as well. Now, after you do reflexology, it's often suggested to drink extra fluids to help keep yourself hydrated. And coming back to the reflexes for a moment, remember the top priority is the one that you want to work on most. If you don't have time to do all three, be sure to do the first one if you can physically. We'd love for you to share this information, help us spread the information around. We are a 501c3 nonprofit and also non-vocational. So it's self-help work that we teach here. And one of the things that we could ask your help for, we already mentioned one, which is to share this with friends and neighbors, family members. But also, we would appreciate your donations. Why? Because although we all at the World Reflexology Foundation, we're all volunteers, it costs us money to get some of the projects done that we're working on. For example, we're translating a lot of the articles that are on the website. If you go to the website, worldreflexologyfoundation.org, you notice that there are a lot of articles there, and also they're being translated into other languages from around the world, a long-term project, and also the videos. And eventually we'll get to having all the videos with voiceovers from around the world as well. So all of these projects are ambitious. They do take quite a bit of money. So if you have the situation where you could donate, we would appreciate your helping us, but just be as generous as you can. But most importantly, it's not to help us with the projects as much as to help us get the projects out to the world, to help the world be, as we said at the beginning, to help the world be a healthier place through self-help reflexology. So bless you. Thank you so very much for being with us. And until the next time, we wish you very vibrant, good health.